I thank the gentleman and now recognize the gentleman from Tennessee, Mr. Rose, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Thompson, and thanks to Ranking Member Scott for holding the hearing, and thank you, Secretary Vilsack, for being with us today. As time is limited, I'll dive right in. The Tennessee walking horse industry is a special industry that, frankly, is extremely important to my constituents and one that I value personally. Last summer, during a Farm Bill listening session tour that Representative Desjardins and I hosted in Tennessee, I, along with Representative Desjardins, joined by Chairman Thompson and also Representative Jonathan Jackson, visited a walking horse stable facility. The Walking Horse Celebration is a time-honored tradition in Tennessee that began in 1939. Over 2,000 horses compete to be crowned the World Grand Champion, which is always crowned the Saturday night before Labor Day. I see you're writing that down. This year's celebration will be held August 21st through August 31st in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Mr. Secretary, I would like to extend a personal invitation for you to attend this unique event and experience firsthand this long-standing Tennessee tradition. Mr. Secretary, schedule permitting, would you be willing to consider attending this year's celebration?
Be happy. You know, they don't put me in charge of my schedule, Congressman. It would be chaotic if they did. But I'm happy to make sure that folks are aware of your kind invitation, and we'll certainly take it under consideration.
And I invite you because as part of my visits to the celebration in recent years, I've had the opportunity to take a look at what your staff is doing there to inspect the horses, and it's really quite something. The efforts, the lengths that are taken to make sure that these horses are treated humanely and fairly, and so I just think it would be useful to you to see that and then compare and contrast that to what happens elsewhere in the equine industry, the lack of equivalent oversight that's going on with respect to other shows, with respect to other breeds. So I would encourage you to consider coming. I think it would be insightful to you to have a sense for the scope of that inspection process. I want to shift gears. I was extremely alarmed to read the December 20th 2023 press release from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Mississippi announcing that a USDA employee named Ella Martin was sentenced to 35 months in prison for using her USDA position to create fraudulent warranty deeds with the intent to deprive the actual owners of the real estate of the use and benefit of their property. Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to have the text of the press release entered into the record.
Without objection.
Mr. Secretary, what specific policies and procedures has USDA implemented in light of this development to strengthen internal controls and prevent similar fraudulent activity like this from occurring in the future?
Every time something like this occurs, our Inspector General gets engaged and involved and basically gives us activities or steps that could be taken to ensure that that there's not a repeat situation. We obviously are very interested in making sure it doesn't happen again. And so we institute training, we institute new guidance, we institute oversight to make sure that these kinds of activities don't occur on a regular basis.
Mr. Secretary, recently USDA published the Organic Livestock and Poultry Standards Final Rule that sets new standards for organic livestock and poultry production, including standards related to animal welfare for the first time. Previously, the Agricultural Marketing Service stated that the Organic Foods Production Act did not, quote, authorize the animal welfare provisions, close quote. This sudden change in statutory interpretation leads me to believe this action could be interpreted as arbitrary and capricious. Secretary Vilsack, can you further explain why USDA changed their interpretation of this statute?
I think it's important from a brand perspective that we do what we can to ensure that the organic brand remains a high-value brand. I think there's a certain expectation from the consuming public when they pay significantly more for organically produced items that they are produced in an appropriate way. And I think it's a reflection of consumer expectation and what the industry itself is requesting.
Thank you. I appreciate that insight. And I don't think I can make it through this question, so I think I'll just yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back. Now pleased to recognize